Okie dokie, easy 9K today. And I was asked about the viewer to talk about recovery. So let's go. So you've all heard the phrase, train well, train hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty from Dragon Ball. Today we'll be covering the last two, right? Eat well and sleep plenty. Because I feel like if you're, passionate about training, the first two are easy, right? Everyone can train hard, go hard in the gym, watch lots of videos about training, gain the information. But what really makes a difference is like the 90% outside of the gym, outside of your training, where you're supposed to be recovering. And I'm gonna cover it in two parts. First of all, sleep, and second of all, food, So let's start with sleep, because I feel like that's the easiest to cover. Obviously, you put two guys in the training environment, they're doing the exact same training. One is sleeping 7 to 9 hours, the other one is sleeping 3 to 5 hours. Which one is gonna make more gains? Take a guess. I mean, it goes without saying, right? You have to sleep enough, but also like at regular times to make enough gains for training, to recover, because if you're not sleeping enough, you're not gonna be able to recover from even your daily activities, your job, your studies, right? Let alone your training. You're gonna be tired throughout the day. So of course you're gonna have to sleep enough. And that's it about sleep, I guess. Don't scroll TikTok or Instagram late in the night. That's my own personal problem. Like, you will see so many guys like myself, right, who just waste time on social media scrolling instead of going to bed or watching one more episode of anime. Don't do that, or try to reduce it, because the more sleep you can get to a certain point, right, the better your recovery is gonna be. And when it comes to food, I think it's a bit more complex, like for food, like many people have many different preferences, but there's one thing that I think we can all agree upon. What the fuck was that? I saw like an animal running over the road. Anyway, so I think we can all agree that, you gotta eat some quality food to recover. I think especially in calisthenics, it's important that you eat food that makes you feel good, right? And I'm not talking about, McDonald's makes me feel good. No, it feels good eating it for a while, and then afterwards you feel like shit, right? So you're not gonna do your planche, you're not gonna do your front lever when you feel bloated. Like, it's gonna have such a large effect. And I think in the first place, if you crave fast food on a regular basis, what the okay, the birds are lively today. When you crave fast food on a regular basis, it's kind of a sign that you're not getting in the nutrients that you want. I was like until a few years ago, right, I was always kind of cutting, I was doing judo matches. I wanted to stay lean and light. I was always eating in a deficit, and guess what? I was always craving McDonald's, KFC, whatever fast food you could think of. I would want to have it on a daily basis, right? But once I started eating enough, and once I started eating healthy, guess what? My body had enough nutrients. I felt so much better, right? I never feel bloated right now. And I just don't crave it anymore. Someone tells me, oh, let's go to McDonald's for lunch, right? Yeah, okay, I guess, but I wish I could have my eggs instead. I wish I could have my milk instead, my steak, my chicken, right? I love those foods because they make me feel good. Like, You have all these rules about protein and carbs and fats, whatever. Like, just eat whatever makes you feel good, right? I mean, for me, it's like a lot of meat and a lot of fruit, and that makes me feel good. I'm never bloated. It makes me energized, so that's what I do. But some people, they want to have rice, they want to have pasta. If that makes you feel good, do it as well. And when it comes to protein, I guess generally, like, the minimum if you're training is 1 gram of protein per body weight, right? From quality sources. I'm sorry, vegans, but I'm talking about meat, fish, eggs, milk, right? Those kinds of sources. Like 1 gram of protein minimum per body weight, kilo of body weight. That's about it. And if you're American, that's half a gram of protein per body weight. But in general, like, I say that's the minimum, but I just feel good right now eating 200 grams to 250 grams of protein, and that's like triple my body weight, right? 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So, in my opinion right now, I feel the best personally from experience eating protein, like, just to the point where I'm not constipated. Feels fucking great. I'm recovering like insanely well, like today as well, right? 9k run, daily running, daily training, and I'm managing it. So I think, yeah, eat what makes you feel good. And also, what I would say, one last thing about that is, unless you're actually fat, like, and you want to lose weight, don't cut, guys. Like, I get it, you want to maybe lose weight to do some skills, but unless you're like preparing for a competition and you're at the top level, it's not gonna matter. You're gonna be able to progress just fucking eating like a normal guy, right? I would say do a lean bulk, be in a bit of a surplus, but because by having like the surplus amount of calories, you're gonna feel more energized in your training. You're gonna have more energy to put out in your training, right? So you're gonna be able to train harder. And yeah, I mean, I said it before. I tried to stay skinny for years upon years upon years, and like, I was in a state where I was always tired. I was tired throughout the day, and then after that, like, only the moment I was training, I was kind of like feeling good, right? Then I would pump myself up and do something. I guess I will pass for the truck. All right. I guess I'm also partially biased in saying that you should bulk, because I just think it's freaking cool to have big legs, a bigger body, have some muscle, and then be able to do skills anyway. I just think that's cool. But like, really, guys, you can't deny that, bulking, you're gonna have more energy. So, all right, one last thing I want to mention is, if you're looking on how to recover, right, the best way to learn is through experience. And, the best way to gain experience is to do something over and over and over again. So what I did, right, in last year, the summer of last year, I was like, I feel like I'm not really in control of how I recover, right? And then what I decided to do is to start training every day and start running every day. And it seems like a bit of a mind fuck, because how are you gonna learn to recover by doing even more shit? But that's kind of the point. Like, if you're training every day, you feel the consequences of your actions on a daily basis. You feel when you have done too much. You feel when you didn't sleep enough. You feel it when you ate shit, right? So before, I'm telling you all these things of, don't skip on your sleep, scroll a bit less memes, eat good food. But when I was not training daily, I was oftentimes thinking to myself, well, hey, today is a rest day, so it doesn't matter if I only sleep 6 hours. Today is a rest day. so let's go to McDonald's, right? And those kind of were fucking with my recovery without knowing it, because on the days that I was doing that shit, I wasn't training, so I wasn't feeling, any weaker in training either, right? I didn't have that experience. But then the next day, I would train, and I was like, hey, what the fuck? I'm still tired, how come? I had an entire day of recovery, but unknowingly, I fucked the entire day of recovery up. But if you train daily, you will directly know the consequences. The frequency, where you get to think about recovery, they go up into the fucking sky, right? Your amount of repetitions when it comes to recovery is getting way higher. More repetitions, more volume, more experiences. You learn more about recovery. So I guess I've been talking for way too freaking long, because I'm already almost at the hill that I'm running today. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say about recovery. Today is front lever training. I will see you when I'm back. Okie dokie, first I'm gonna do my warm-up set, and then let's discuss. Alright. So, quick summary of the running talk. Sleep enough and eat plenty. Unless you're overweight, eat in a bit of a surplus, put on some muscle, put on a bit of fat. It's not gonna hurt your skills. It's gonna give you energy to train harder. And yeah, that's it. Oh, regarding the training daily, you don't have to do it forever, right? You can just try it for 30 days and that's enough. But anyway, front lever training, we're gonna start off with some pull-ups, hitting the spots on the rear delts, the upper back muscles. With the front lever pull-ups, I use a false grip because it makes it easier. Basically, the front lever becomes harder the more your elbows go back, backwards, behind your back. So for front lever pull-ups, if I don't have a false grip, basically my elbows have to go all the way back here, but if I use a false grip, they only have to go back here. Whereas with a normal front lever, I don't use a false grip, because if I use a false grip, my elbows are here, but if I don't use it, they come forward more. And thus, the lats are easier to engage. So, false grip pull-ups, maybe I'll do some non-false grip pull-ups as well. But in any case, 5 sets of 11, which I've been doing lately a lot. And I'm just gonna aim for more and more difficulty on these sets. So let's say that you are on the tuck front lever pull-ups, right? You can do 5 sets of 8. Start with tuck front lever pull-ups, but as you get stronger, you can do some pull-ups in advanced tuck front lever pull-ups. You can do some with one-legged, right? You can try to pull as high as possible. You can add some weight, but keep the 5 times 8 volume. That's kind of the style I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna start with that, and then we can move on to some holds. Yes! That was the best one until now for sure. Yes. Alright. Last set wasn't perfect, but way better than any previous ones. So now let's do some white boys. With these freaking pull-ups, I mean, whether it's front lever pull-ups or normal pull-ups, right? You can increase the difficulty by doing it slow and controlled. You can increase the difficulty by making your grip wider. You can increase the difficulty by using false grip, adding weight, whatever, right? So many different things you can do, but just aim for stuff that you haven't done before, that you weren't able to do before, and eventually, you're gonna be able to do it. Alright. Right, last sit. Let's do some non-false grip action. So the range of motion is going to be, of course, bigger. I'm going to have to pull my elbows more back than last time, so it's going to be harder. Alright. Alright, pull-ups done. Upper back has been destroyed. Kind of destroyed because we still have something left here. I'm gonna do front lever holds, aiming for volume. So just like last streaming actually, I'm gonna do 2 rounds of 5 sets of EMOM with 10 seconds holds of front lever, and build the volume in the holds up that way. If I have energy left after that, I will do a longer set as well. But for now, I just want to concentrate on this. And like the front lever holds, right? Unlike the front lever pull-ups, you're constantly in this position with your hands before you, holding the front lever. It's the same if you're doing presses. Basically, any straight arm work for the front lever, you're really like putting the pressure on your lats, right? When you pull back like this, the pressure alleviates a bit from your back and it moves onto your rear delt and your upper back muscles. But in the front lever, you're just constantly putting pressure on it. Of course, you're still going to have the retraction, which puts like pressure on your upper back as well. But like the main focus is the wings, You don't need Red Bull, you need front lever. So yeah, let's get started with the EMOM front lever and hopefully it goes well. I'm kind of tired already. All right, I'm gonna do the second round and try to do 2 presses. Might be a bit ambitious, but after every 10 seconds of all 2 presses would be very nice. I mean, of course, 100 presses would be very nice as well, but let's keep it realistic. Holy fuck. 2 presses was the correct judgment. Holy shit. Alright. I'm gonna rest up and do 1 more set, I believe. With some band assistance. Long set, 45 seconds if possible. Because the goal is not to do 10 sets of 10 seconds holds. The goal is to do 1 set of 45 seconds hold. And if you don't practice for what you want to achieve, well, guess what's gonna happen? You're not gonna achieve it. So, let's go. Right. The press afterwards is not happening, but 45 seconds. Not bad. Alright, and just like that, 2 slabs of meat cooked to perfection, medium rare. Or maybe today it was even well done, perhaps, because this was quite the intense training, you know. Alright. Yeah. In the beginning of the video, I was talking about, recovery outside of training, sleep, food, I like to eat in a bit of a surplus. Especially, I noticed it since this bulk, but eating in a bit of a surplus, you have plenty of energy to train. Sleeping regular hours, between 7 to 9 hours. That's a life hack, boys. Like the difference between like someone maintaining their proper sleep schedule and their eating habits to someone who doesn't, it's night and day. So definitely very important, but also like within training, right? When it comes to recovery, you have these trainings that you push yourself, and you have trainings that, you're really tired, you can hold back a little bit. I would say, you can always push yourself as long as you are making progress. If you're pushing yourself time after time after time and you notice that your progress has stopped, then probably you should back off for a training or two, and then you can continue pushing yourself. But hey, if you're always pushing yourself and making progress, don't change anything, right? You're living in heaven. Continue to do so. So anyway, that's it for today's training. Very successful, had a good amount of pull-ups. Well, the same amount as always, but I mean, the difficulty and execution, I was quite happy with. And yeah, after that, lots of holds, long sets, short sets, but, in general, endurance work was done for today. So very happy with this. Next time, I'll probably, in the next back training, I'll probably tone it down a little bit to then, again, repeat this stuff basically. Because, yeah, holy shit, I feel like, the planche is getting close to the final goal now. The front lever is getting close bit by bit. Hamstrings are healing. Pistol squat, we just reached over 50 kilos. So we're heading in the right direction, boys. Body weight is 72 kilos. That's also a very important one, because on my first bulk, which was the last bulk last summer, I reached 72 kilos, feeling fat as fuck, like I was bloated all the time. Like I really didn't want to train, like, because I just felt so bad. But now, I have toned down, or I have zoned in with the eating. I'm eating whatever makes me feel good, right? And I don't feel fat. I feel like basically the same as I was feeling when I was 69 kilos, right? Except now I'm 3 kilos heavier. And trust me, there might be some fat, but definitely also some muscle. So very happy with the progress. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for a leg day. Now I'm gonna have a shower and some food. Because damn it, I need it, 9 kilometers, a heavy front lever training. You would want to eat some food even if you didn't do that, right? So let's go. See you tomorrow.